Hello. Today we are going to talk about the camera tool inside of Adobe Animate. We're also going to look at the website itself, the class website, and the things that are posted there for this week. So let's go ahead and look at the website first. Um, so we have Moz with a presentation due today, so please put that in your folder, send me a link to it so I can post it here so people can check it out. We do have three presentations here that were posted last week. Please take a look at those and then go into the website forum. You'll have to log into the class website and post your comments about these presentations there. I'm sure these guys would appreciate it. So let's see, we have a cognitive drawing exercise here. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, so we're working on arms. So these are that's the photographic reference and the drawing reference, and then you're, drawing from memory and from reference, switching back and forth between the two. Um, okay, we do have, um, I'm asking you folks to send me a link to your principles of animation exercise that we did last week, which was secondary action. And if you finish your storyboard, send me a link to those as well. Here's a copy of Zach's secondary action if you want to check that out. We also have a couple links here just for you to enjoy. There's a cool flipbook animation here celebrating some of our medical heroes today during the coronavirus outbreak. And then this is a cool animation. Studio Ghibli turned some ancient scrolls into a full-blown animation, and you can see it here. Now, what I'm going to be talking about today is using the camera in Adobe Animate. And there's a link here which explains how the camera works in Adobe Animate. So you can go to the Adobe website and this will tell you, how to do different things with the camera, including more complex, tricky things than what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to focus on three things, which is zooming, panning, and rotation. So let's cut over here to Adobe Animate. I have this little picture of this mouse here, or I guess he's officially a chinchilla, that I got from the Vecteezy site, a little vector piece of art that I put in there. Now let me show you on a separate file here. I've gone ahead and made examples of the zoom, the panning, and the rotation. So let's first watch that. So if we go over here to this other file, I've got I'll call him a mouse even though he's supposed to be a chinchilla. I've got the mouse here and I have all three going one after the other. First is a zoom, then a rotation, and then a pan. Now, I had animated this little mouse before, this example, and what happened was he's dancing around, right? And I thought, well, why is he dancing around? Oh, I know, I'll put a little bug here so he's scared of the bug. But so what I thought would happen is he'd dance around, people are like, what's going on? What's going on? And then I would use the camera zoom tool to zoom in and zoom in on the bug and then say, hey, he's dancing around because there's a bug here, right? So that's the first part is, we've got an animation and then we zoom in on this bug and that text comes in. So that is the example of the zooming of the camera. Next, we have rotation. So I just flipped over to just the mouse himself. And even though it looks like he's rotating, actually the camera is rotating. So it's weird as it may seem, he's in the same place and we're taking the camera and rotating it around him, right? So that's the second example. And we'll do those on that other page. And so I just left him there. And then the third example is panning. So panning is, of course, moving the camera across the scene so it looks like the character's moving. And there it is, there's the panning. All right, so let's see how all three of those are done. Now, I won't have the bug and I won't have him dancing around in this other example, just so you can try this out on your own computers with whatever kind of graphics you want. So in order to do a zoom in or a zoom out, you have to have some content on there. So I'll just call this layer mouse. And then you have to use the camera tool. Now the camera tool is located right over here on the toolbox. And what happens is you just click on the camera tool. And what it does is it makes a new camera layer. Now, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and zoom in on this guy a lot, and then we'll try zooming out as well. So first of all, you have to keep your object on the stage as long as you want to be able to zoom in or zoom out. So let's say we want to take 4 seconds to zoom in. So we would take this mouse here and we would right click and we'd say insert keyframe. And so now the mouse is staying on the stage for 4 seconds, right? Now we can start out, now we can go up to the camera and we can insert a keyframe for the camera. Okay, and now we can say, okay, at the beginning of this 4 seconds, we want the camera to be, zoomed out like this. And then what you do is you click on this little slider here, and you come down to the end of the 4 seconds, and you click on this and you drag it to the right, okay, to zoom in. Now, I can undo that, and I can show you that if you drag it to the left, you zoom out, right? But we don't want that. We want the zoom in. So we go down to the end of the 4 seconds here. We zoom in on the character, right? And then if we play this back, it just looks like, oh, he's out, he's out, he's out, he's out, he's in, right? So that's not an animation. That's just a snap, right? So now we have to insert, right-click on this and create a classic tween. And what that does is it creates the motion which takes the camera and gradually zooms it in. Now you could do the opposite and just zoom out. It would basically be the opposite of this, right? Now, here's another little trick I want to show you that's very useful. So this is 4 seconds, right? Let's extend this character on the screen all the way down to 8 seconds. So I can just grab him and pull him down to 8 seconds, right? Not sure exactly where that is. I'll put it there, right? Okay, so now what we have is boom. Let's see. We start here. We zoom in on the character, right? And then boom, right after that, he snaps back to his whatever he looked like in the first frame there, because we don't have any more camera movement going on. Well, here's a little trick you can do. If you want to make some kind of motion and then you want to do the opposite motion, you can copy the frames and then you can reverse them. So in this case, what I would do is click on the first frame, hold down my shift key and click on the 4 seconds. Right click and do copy frames, right? Now click right after that and hold down your shift key and come all the way down to here. And now click paste frames, okay? So now essentially what you have is it zooming in and zooming in again because it's, the camera, what you've copied is the camera zooming in. However, you can right click on this and you can say, where is it? Reverse frames, okay? And so now what should happen is that the camera should zoom in and then it should zoom out, right? So basically we pasted a zoom in right here and then we reversed the frames. So it flipped these two keyframes and now it's doing the opposite. Now it's zooming out, right? So, and of course I can drag this. I think that is actually 8 seconds there. So I'm going to move this one over like that. And then I got this extra frame. I have to right click on this little guy right here, which is harder than it seems. And then just do frames. Okay. Ah, why does it do that? What a piece of junk. Okay, let's see. Look, I don't have that other one highlighted. You can all see remove frames. There we go. Okay. All right, so that's a neat trick. We could zoom in and then zoom out again, right? All right, so that's the first of the three, zooming. Next is rotation. So what we can do is we can grab this little mouse again in his initial position. I'll just copy this frame, and then I'll come down here. I'll leave a second in between these two, and then I'll insert the keyframe here. So what's going to happen? He's going to zoom in and he's going to zoom out, and he's going to stay in that last position for a second, just to divide up between the two types of movement, right? Now then over here, we'll insert a keyframe for the camera. Let's go another like 4 seconds. So let's see, that'll take us to 13 here. So we'll just shift click both of these and insert keyframes. Okay, so right now during these 4 seconds, the camera stays the same, the mouse stays the same, right? Now if we want to rotate this mouse, we have to switch from the zoom, which is this, to the rotation camera. Now the camera can move around in 360 degrees, right? Now once again, you can rotate to the right or to the left. So, or whoa, or you could just rotate around like this, which is kind of crazy. Now, so this is the camera rotating, one way or the other. Now, that's all going to be based, how the rotation occurs is going to be based on your rotation point. And that is set by your free transform tool, which is this guy right here, right? So let's see what happens if I click on this, click on the camera tool. I'm on my rotation thing here. And then I come down here to insert a keyframe at 1 second. And so once again, the mouse is just sitting there at the beginning of this section. We go 1 second down, and now let's just rotate him kind of counterclockwise a little bit. Okay. Now we can keep going. Insert a keyframe. Another second down and rotate him a little more. And then we can go another second down and so on and so forth, right? Insert keyframe, rotate him a little more. Okay, so let's say that's enough. Now, of course, between each of these states, you want to put in a tween, right? So there's nothing that happens between 8 and 9, but between 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, 12, and 12 and 13, we want to insert a classic tween, because what that does is it creates the smoothness of a change occurring in every frame, right? So now if we grab this and drag it back, we can see that, he's going to rotate this way like that. Now, of course, moving it the other way is going to rotate him the other direction, but we're not going to worry about that right now. This is the rotation that we've decided upon, right? Okay, so we've got a zoom being demonstrated at the beginning here. We've got some blank space. We've got some rotation occurring here, counterclockwise, right? Let's leave another blank space, and then let's do the panning. So we'll come down here to 14 seconds, and we'll insert some keyframes, which means that, at this point, okay, so he gets rotated, and then there's nothing that happens for a second. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to pan. Now, to pan, we go back to the regular camera. And to really see the pan, we have to take the character and we have to move it to one side of the screen, right? We also have to make sure that both of these things are on the screen long enough. So we go down a few seconds and shift click and insert a couple keyframes, right? Okay, so the mouse we can leave alone. He just stays on the screen. But now we want to pan the camera. Now to pan the camera, all you have to do is actually move, be on the camera tool, and then just move the whole screen, because the whole screen becomes the camera lens. So what we'll do is, at the beginning, we'll leave the camera right there, but then we'll go down to the end, and we'll click, and we'll hold our shift key down so that we're moving in a straight line, and we'll simply drag the camera over to the right, thereby panning over the mouse and making it look like the camera's going to the right, which means he's increasingly going to the left. And so, of course, what we have to do in here is create the classic tween. And now when we start here, okay, so the mouse starts there, and then he jumps over to this corner, and then the camera pans across. Okay, and of course, moving this the opposite, well, actually clicking and dragging everything the opposite direction would create the pan going the other way, to the right. Now you can pan up, you can pan down, you can pan sideways. It doesn't matter. Whatever kind of panning you want to do, you can do. All right, so now let's look at the example of this that we just made. Once again, we're going to zoom in and zoom out, and there'll be a second of nothing. Then we're going to just rotate this guy about 90 degrees over a series of seconds. And then we're going to move him over into the corner, and we're going to pan right, which means he's going to shift to the left. Okay, so let's watch this. Okay, zooming in, and then we reverse the frames, so we're zooming back out. Then we have the pause, And now we've got the rotation. Okay, counterclockwise, it's about 90 degrees. And then we pan across. Now something funny happened at the end of that rotation. He rotated back, and the reason is because um, let's see, we got to here, and then I think the reason he rotated back was because I pasted in just a regular mouse here, and I put a tween there. So what happened was we left him, hanging in the air like that. But then here he's at that position, and I put a tween in here, which is going to rotate him the opposite direction, just so he goes back to straight up. So that's why we see the counterclockwise and then the clockwise rotation, right? But that's interesting. That's clever and unintentionally, but that's a good resource for us. Just like the zooming in and zooming out, that's a good thing to add to our toolbox. But also, being able to rotate one direction, then flip back the other, and then of course the pans, which can go in any direction. Okay, so that is what I wanted to show you guys today. What I want to share with you was the camera tool. Please use that judiciously in Adobe Animate. It's a great tool, and it can save you a lot of time with drawings and give you some cool special effects. Okay, so once again, please remember, I'll go back to the website here. Let's see, blah, 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 blah. I think it's back. Oh, here we go, animation. Okay. So once again, I want to tell you folks that if any of you guys are thinking you might want to take a different kind of grade for this class because you can't finish the class, you need to email me and let me know right away if you're having any kind of trouble with getting the software running or having a tablet to use. One of the students has a couple extra tablets and is willing to share those with other students, drawing tablets, if somebody wants to use one. And of course, if you're having trouble getting the software installed at home, you can let me know and we'll see what we can do about that. But let me know as soon as possible if you're having trouble with this class at all so that I can help you out. We do have a deadline, which I believe is today, the 14th, for changing your status in the class if you're not going to finish the class. And you want to take some kind of incomplete or something, I need to know that immediately so I can file that paperwork. So those of you who haven't gotten in touch with me yet in the couple weeks we've been back in class, please email me right away. Let me know what your status is. If you haven't uploaded any information or any presentations or anything, I don't really know what's going on with you, and I need you to send me an email and let me know as soon as possible. Okay, so that's it for today, Tuesday, and I hope you guys have a good couple days, and I will post another video on Thursday for you. So have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.